What happens when countries must share a single river? How is water allocated and at what cost? Together We Flow is a serious game that simulates real-world challenges of sharing water between countries. Developed by Meadow Poplawsky with support from researchers at the University of Twente, it helps players understand the complexity of water allocation in transboundary river basins. The game encourages players to balance economic needs, environmental protection, and socio-cultural values while negotiating with other players, representing different countries. So how does it all work in practice? Meet Meadow Poplawsky, the creator of the game, who's here to break it down for us.
Hello everyone, my name is Meadow, the creator of the simulation, and I will walk you through how to play the simulation. Here you see the simulation laid out in front of you. This is the starting scenario. You are in charge of water allocation and development for one of 3 countries in a river basin. The countries have the opportunity to develop through 3 water values, 1 environmental, 1 economic, and 1 socio-cultural. All values may lead you to success, so it is up to you to choose your country's path. Your aim is simple: to satisfy your citizens as much as possible. The roles. First role is the River Basin Organization. They are the moderator of the game. They enforce rules, handle money, keep score, moderate negotiation, and keep time. The 3 countries, each managed by 1 or 2 players, are Country A, the upstream country, Country B, and Country C, the downstream country. Now let's talk about the materials. First is the simulation board, which is the map. The map shows the locations of all the values within the river basin. Upstream-downstream relationships are thus clear. The map contains boxes underneath each value, where a cube can be placed to indicate the value's level. The boxes also contain red or green arrows, indicating the direction of positive or negative impacts on the basin from that value. The next material is the value booklets. Each booklet corresponds to a country's value, as shown on the cover. When flipped open, the first level of the value is shown. When flipped again, the subsequent level is shown, and so on. All values start on level 0, the first card in the packet. The booklet provides all necessary information about each level: the cost of upgrading, the amount of water that needs to be allocated, how much income can be received, how many points can be earned, whether food or electricity are produced, and any downstream or upstream impacts. The number in the bottom center of the card in each packet shows the level of the value. The next material is country information cards. The country information card describes the country, lists how much of each resource the country has and needs to acquire during the game, and provides descriptions of the country's values. Next, we have the treaty. The treaty is a card showing the existing water allocations for the game in both drops and percentages. The treaty is a living document that can be renegotiated or amended once per round. Any amendments should be written on the provided scrap paper. Treaty agreements may include any other resources in the game, including water, electricity, food, and money. There is a 10-minute time limit on all treaty negotiations. All countries must sign the treaty for an amendment or renegotiation to be final. Next, we have the groundwater card. One time during the game, players may use the groundwater card. The groundwater card provides 10 extra drops of water and costs 2,500 credits. The division of the cost and the extra water must be negotiated. Next, we have the water availability card. Starting in the second round, water is variable. This card provides the guidelines to the amount of water allocated based on water availability, a percentage. Water availability is determined by the roll of a die. Next, we have blue cubes. These cubes represent each country's water allocation. At the beginning of each player's turn, they take their water allocation and distribute it among their values. The next material is yellow cubes. Yellow cubes represent grains, the unit for food. The pieces are allocated by the RBO at the beginning of each round. When players develop values that provide more grains, they take more grain cubes. Players may then use the pieces to trade grains. Next, we have clear bolt cubes. These clear cubes represent bolts, the unit for electricity. The pieces are allocated by the RBO at the beginning of each round. When players develop values that provide more bolts, they take more bolt cubes. Players may then use the pieces to trade bolts. Next, we have level cubes. Level cubes are green. These cubes are placed on the squares next to the value on the map to indicate the level of the value. Next, we have money. The currency in the game is credits. Bills of 50 credits, 100 credits, 500 credits, and 1,000 credits are kept and distributed by the RBO. We also have the negotiation timer. This timer is used to keep track of the 10 minutes allocated for negotiation. We also have the four-sided die. This die is rolled to determine the water availability for each round. The number facing upright at the bottom, in this situation 1, tells you which number has been chosen. Essentially, I made like an abstracted transboundary river basin. So it has aspects of many different basins, but to take people out of kind of their normal mindset and a bit emotionally detach them from the usual basin, it's made just as kind of random. I gave everyone a water allocation at the start of the game, which is on the treaty. So it says how many drops you receive, and the blue cubes are drops. And in the first round, that's fixed. And then in every round after that, you roll this four-sided dice, and that determines how much water you get. So if you roll a 1, you have a year with more water, and then you have more drops, and that's the allocation. So then the goal of the players, starting at the beginning, they have these goal cards, and they have to choose what they want to pursue. So if they see like economy booster, and they're like, all right, I want to really pursue the economy, they can choose that. Or they have like this environmental card. If they really want to pursue environmental stuff in their country, they can do that. There's also pursuing the social value, being a good neighbor, so signing agreements, negotiating treaty. And there's also a balancing act, so that's balancing between the three different values.
And you can choose freely what
you choose freely, but you have to choose one.
Each round?
Well, you try to achieve that goal first. If you achieve that goal, you can choose another one. So basically all it is like earn 150 points from your socio-cultural value. So if I had this recreational lake, I would need to earn 150 points from it. So then how do you earn points? So like essentially these are at levels that you can level up. So it starts at level 0. Which is just nothing. Some of them do require you to allocate water because, for example, a lake still needs water. But then you can pay money and allocate more water to move up the levels, and you earn points the higher the level it is. So, for example, in level 1, you earn 20 points. Level 2, you earn 45. And level 3, you earn 70. And that's per round. So it incentivizes you to move it up to the highest level. But you definitely do not have enough money or enough water to put all of your values on the highest level, especially given the basin. So then that comes the choice then that you make, like which ones are you going to give the most water and money to? But then you also have neighbors, and they also need water, especially the country C takes the most water. So then each round you have a negotiation session where you can say, I don't have enough water for this, can we negotiate for water? And then to just make it all a little bit more complicated, each country has to fulfill a certain amount of electricity and food. And so there's only 2 ways to produce that. This produces electricity and this produces food. But like country A still needs food and only country C makes it. And country B needs both and they don't make anything, but the gold mine makes a lot of money. And country A produces hydropower but still needs food. So then there's some ways that you can negotiate for those different things. So they have to do that because to achieve a goal, you have to have achieved your electricity and food like requirement. And then every round has an event after the first round. So that kind of changes things in the basin. Some are natural disasters. So like this one's a flood. And for example, if it floods, it depends what level the different values on. Like if the hydropower is at a higher level, the impacts downstream are less because the reservoir can absorb the flood more. Same with the wetlands. But yeah, that depends. And then the other rounds have collaborative options. So it gives you a proposition like this one is an international organization wants to aid cultural and social development in the region. If all socio-cultural values in the basin are at level 2 or above, everyone receives 400 credits and 15 points, in addition to the benefits of the level. So there's 2 options. There's a second option, and then they can choose between those, or they can choose none. But it's another way to see like things that might happen in the basin.